Bill Wetzel. I'm a New York State licensed surf fishing guide, and the following videos were taken the first or second week of October of 2013. It was a really rough season in Montauk. I primarily fish Montauk. I think that was due to primarily the decline of the striped bass, which I'm not going to get into, but I do feel that they are in a close to a severe decline. But let's talk about the video and what's happening. In September of 2013, we had tons of whitebait. Now, if you don't know what whitebait is, whitebait are bay anchovies. They're about this big. And I wouldn't say it was the most I've seen in 30 years, but it was definitely a good year for whitebait. There should have been blitzes all over, because when you see a Montauk blitz, that's what they're primarily on. They're primarily on the whitebait. They come in and they corral the bait and they just blitz all over the place. Well, despite all the whitebait, I didn't get into one blitz in the month of September, not one, and I was there 40 hours a week. You know, I worked there, so if there was a blitz going on, I probably would have known about it. Maybe there was a few people got into, but personally, I didn't get into any, which is amazing to me. But then came the little northeast winds we had in October. I can't remember how bad it was blowing, but it was blowing pretty good. I mean, you can hear the wind in the video. It was probably 30 knots-ish. We probably had maybe 5 to 7 foot waves. I would have to check my log. I mean, you can go to the website, surfratsball.com, for those of you who do subscribe, and you can check out my log. You can check out the winds on these days, and I can't remember, but I think it was pretty significant winds, and we definitely had some big water. What I like to do on those northeast winds with the big water, I primarily throw bucktails, because the bucktail will hold that water, as opposed to most plugs. They're going to get tossed around, with the exception of a few, like a bottle darter or a bottle plug, or even a darter you probably could get away with. But even those are going to get tossed around a lot. So bucktails will get down in the water column I want, and they will hold where I want them to hold. I was throwing 1.5 ounces that day, which is my typical bucktail that I throw in Montauk. I find 1.25 ounces is a little bit too light for a hold, and anything over 1.5 ounces, I'll be digging down too deep, and I'll be catching a lot of rocks, which I don't want to do either. So I just want to go. I want to go fast enough to keep it out of the rocks, and slow enough where the striper is not going to have to chase it too much. So there's a fine line there, and 1.5 ounces gets me there. And actually, not only in these conditions, most of the Montauk situations, I'm throwing 1.5 ounces. That is like my go-to bucktail, and most of the time. However, of course, you know, some days you're going to be throwing 3 ounces, some days you're going to be throwing a 3/4 of an ounce. It's going to depend on the conditions of the day. And by conditions, I mean everything from water temperatures to wind to how big the water is. Is it soft water, meaning flat, or is it huge water? You know, so I mean, sometimes we're throwing into a 50-knot wind. Sometimes we're throwing into no wind. You know, it all depends on all those conditions, what size of bucktail I'm going to choose. If you notice in the video too, I have my charters. Hopefully, they're casting behind the waves. I try to teach people who are not advanced in surf casting to cast your bucktails behind the waves. The reason for that is, and by the way, when you're casting behind the wave, you're going to pick your cast. You're going to sit there and wait, and then you're going to pick your cast and get it behind that wave. Once it's behind the wave, you want to get up to slack. Well, actually, right after you cast, you get up to slack immediately. And then you're behind the wave, and when the wave breaks, your bucktail will be in that white water. The white water is several things. The white water provides the fish with cover. It's very oxygenated in there, and that's where everything's stirring up. So by casting behind the wave, when that wave breaks, your bucktail is going to be in it. Obviously, it's not only using that white water and casting behind the waves. You got to fish specific structure, and you got to fish the tides. I mean, even with the nor'easter, I mean, you're just not going to go out there on any tide and expect to catch fish. I mean, and know the area, know the tide, and know what to throw. The bucktail is great because it's going to imitate everything out there. You know, and especially in this situation, you're going to be able to simulate any bait fish that's in the area. In this case, I'm not even sure what the bait was. I never saw the bait that day. I can almost guarantee it wasn't white bait because these fish were nice fish. You know, we had fish that day. Actually, this is 2 videos of 2 days, but the first video we had fish that day to 30 pounds, and that week we caught over 300 fish, my charters and I. I mean, we just killed it that week. Some guys didn't do well that entire week, but most people who fished that week had fish. It's interesting to note that after that nor'easter that we had, or northeast winds, whatever you want to call it, you know, it was blowing pretty good that entire week. After that died out, the fishing just completely died out. It was very tough to find fish about a week or even 2 weeks following those winds. And then the water temperatures dropped a little bit because it was colder at night. We started to get cold nights. I think we had a couple nights down in the 30s or 40s. And then we had the sand eels come in. I call them offshore sand eels. They're about 7 inches. And they came in and they flooded mostly the sand beaches. They were on the south side as well. The north side didn't really see really good fishing the entire fall. I mean, obviously there was some nights the north side was really good, but in general the north side did not produce. I'm not sure the reason for that. You know, in my opinion, there was a lot of seals on the north side, and I think that had something to do with it. I mean, I remember fishing a couple moons that I love on the north side, and pretty much doing nothing. A couple, you know, short fish, and you know, in past years it was a no-brainer that I'm going to catch fish on those moons, on the areas that I was fishing on the north side. But November overall was pretty good in Montauk, despite but that doesn't make a good year. Believe me, the year was not that great. I mean, we had a good month and a half run of fish, even 2 months really. Most of October through November was good, but September was just, I don't know what it was. White bait everywhere, but no fish. If you'd like to check out the logs, just go to surfratsball.com. You can check out my logs and check out the log that coincides with these guys fishing, the video that you're going to see, or you can book a trip. Love to fish. Alright, it's October 8th or 9th, 2013. It's our first true Montauk east wind. We got really nice water here. A lot of fish. Up to about 20 pounds, wasn't our biggest so far. These 2 gentlemen booked me for the evening. We've had a lot of fish on. Throwing an 1.5 ounce bucktail, comes 74 pride. And this bucktail, he just fished the fish. So just waiting for the wave.
side of Montauk, catching fish. Here's my charter, Michael. All on bucktails. Northeast wind, big water. Look out! Woo! Couple wetsuiters banging some fish over there. Michael's in the water. Oh no! He's got him. He's got him. Let more line out. This is one of many. We probably had about 50 so far.
Beep, 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 beep. I'm editing my curse words. Thank you.
There you go. You got it. Oh!